Your man Tyrese.
Listen, Vlad. I've done about 13,000 interviews with you. What more do you want from me?
Oh my God, am I doing something illegal by doing this video, or am I protected by the First Right Amendment or the amendment? Don't take my baby. I'm at $13,000 a month. What more do you want from me?
That's my nigga, Tyrese. Has been quite funny the past week or so. But it's sad at the same time. First of all right, yeah, he's bugged out, okay? But at the same time, I mean, he does appear to really love his daughter. You know what I mean? And it's like, you know, you got a lot of people out here who don't give a fuck about their children. Okay. You know what I mean? And are not willing to be vulnerable enough to the world to say, you know, I love my child, and you know what I mean? That being said, he did bug out though. Like it's one thing to be emotional about your child, it's another thing to like record it and put it on fucking, you know,
Right.
Instagram or whatever the fuck you put it on for the whole world to fucking, you know, bug out on you over this shit, you know?
I mean, from my point of view, this is what I found a bit odd. This is a man who has been working in Hollywood and in the music industry for about 20 years now, right? Since the Coca-Cola commercial, he's starred in films.
Right.
He's been in...
Why are you saying you broke?
Well, you're saying you're broke in your mansion.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? And to the, you know, like I have a certain amount of money, but I can just imagine, you know, a working class person looking at this, you know, lives in a 2-bedroom apartment with his 2 kids, watching you as you're sitting in your mansion and you have a Benihana and a Starbucks and a laundromat in your backyard. You know what I'm saying? A big, huge transformer thing,
Right.
You know,
in the fucking foyer.
Yeah. And you're
talking
talking
in these gigantic closets.
Yeah.
Trying to find your ramen.
Yeah.
And then when you find that it's not even real ramen, it's fucking cup of noodles.
Right. and you're sitting
Which
there.
is some bougie shit. Like, you trying to prove that you want some black shit. You ain't even got the real ramen that black people eat.
And you're talking about how broke you are. But you're saying this in your mansion, or you're rolling around in your Rolls Royce.
Right.
And it's like,
talking about your chef.
Yeah, talking about how your chef is not here
Yeah,
because he's sick. It's like you're kind of spitting in the face of most of your fans, I feel. Because most of the people who like you and support you are working class people.
Listen, I kind of thought Tyrese had it together. Like, he seemed like he had it together. I saw some shit where he was like, ain't he down with some car company where they putting out like a Jeep or some shit like that? Like, yeah, I thought he was doing a lot of like, you know, good business moves, but maybe that you see, that's some face value shit. Motherfuckers want you to feel like, oh no, I'm good, I'm rich, I'm doing this, I'm that, I'm at this gala, and now you see me tuxedos and all this type of shit. But motherfuckers, you know, still be living beyond their means. Well, like, how are you broke and you've been in all the Fast and the Furious joint? That alone, forget your records and all of that, and he went platinum before, yes? Tyrese?
Something like that, yeah.
Hell yeah, he been platinum. So let's forget all of that. Just your royalties alone, from being even one of those Fast and the Furious.
Right, which are international hits.
Come on. I'm sure Bow Wow is still getting fucking checks from Tokyo Drift. Yeah. And you was in all of these motherfuckers. And you telling me you fucked off all that money to where you got to be crying on the fucking internet and waiting for wires, your Will Smith wire?
Which never came.
Which never came. As you sit with your leather jacket and the fucking fur, waiting on your Will Smith wire.
Right. And then when you looked at the post, because I remember I wrote up that article myself when he posted that up and saying, Will and Jada gave me $5 million, and the only thing they asked for is that I stay
shut
off.
the fuck up.
I stay off social media, but this is being posted on social media.
You just nullified the terms of the. That's probably why the wire ain't come. Motherfucker, we said stay off social media, but you didn't give me the money yet, so I figured I'd get a couple last ones in because.
Right. No, because I remember there's a dude named I forgot what his name is, Artemis Gordon, I think, who I follow, who actually broke down this whole thing. That basically said this drug that he claims, because at one point he said, "Oh, it's not me, it's the meds. I was prescribed these meds."
Right.
But what he's saying is that these meds actually take about a month to kick in. So he's like, this kind of bullshit. Like, what he's saying here clinically doesn't make any sense.
But at the same time, he does seem like something's off with him right now.
Could be.
Something's off. Like, and I don't know if it's just the stress of what he's going through. And I mean, first of all, the videos look very melodramatic. Like, part of it, I almost was like, is this even real? Like, are you even truly upset right now? Or
I don't know.
Are you acting right now?
Well,
like, are you acting how you think a concerned father should act?
Well, let me put it like this. As someone, I mean, you know, in terms of people I talk to who work in Hollywood and stuff like that, like, by you acting this way, you are potentially losing future roles. Because a producer, you know, or a high-level executive is going to look at this and saying, this guy might not show up if I book him for a film.
Right.
You know, if him and his baby mama go through it in a court date the day before, and he jumps on social media crying, he's not going to show up to my set. So, you know what I mean? Because I remember I just interviewed Russell Simmons.
On it, Cry Reese. Hashtag Cry Reese.
Yeah. Like, you know, because I remember I just interviewed Russell Simmons, and we talked about, for example, why Chris Tucker hasn't done very many films.
Obviously, he's a very talented guy, and there's so many things he could have done over the last 20 years or so. And I think that, you know, he's been very selective. And I think because of it, I wouldn't say he suffered because, you know, his own personal happiness I can't comment on. But we suffered because we would like to have seen a lot more of him over the last 25 years. He's a brilliant actor. Think of Dead Presidents. He's hilarious. Think of the, you know, so Chris Tucker is a brilliant guy, and I would love to have heard more of his voice over these last 20 years.
Why do you think that happened, though? Why do you think he only did like a rush hour every so often? And
everybody's different. A lot of talent don't like to do a lot of work. A lot of talent likes to do all the work. And, you know, and somewhere in between, a proper manager can help them and they can make their own choices where they expose themselves so they have the most success in the world. But his personal happiness should always be first. So I don't know what his choice is or why he did so little over these years.
When it comes to these types of films, $50 million budgets, $100 million budgets.
You can't fuck around.
You can't fuck around. You can't fuck around. Because, you know, I remember, you know, when the Louis C.K. shit happened, there was a film that was supposed to come out that they purchased for $5 million that they just scrapped. Just boom, done. $5 million? All right, fuck it.
Listen,
you know?
An extra hour, you know, that wasn't allotted for on set could be, you know, $50,000 extra dollars in a budget. Hell yeah.
Well, you've been on these sets.
This is what I'm telling you. And, you know, if you weren't planning, once you go over certain hours, there's overtime, there's all that type of shit.
Yeah, the unions.
It's all union shit. And, the you know, the lighting people and all everybody's getting paid. And depending on the level of the production, the higher it is, the more everybody's getting paid. So now if we were only supposed to do 8 hours and you got me doing, you know, 10 hours, you know, 13, 14 hours, that's not cool. And if we're going over that time because of production, that's one thing. But if we're going over time because your fucking ass showed up 2-3 hours late, that's a big fucking problem.
Right. So, like, for example, all the HBO shit that you've done and everything else like that, like, how big was the biggest crew you've ever worked on? Was it like 50 people, 100 people?
I mean, when you put all together, everybody, it could be like 100-something people. Well, you're talking about the crew or everybody?
I see what you're saying.
You see, because like on Oz, you had all the extras.
Yeah.
The inmate extras, and then the principal actors, and then the crew. You see what I'm saying? So that was like 200, 300 people sometimes.
Yeah, so one person fucking up 200 people's time it gets pretty personal at that point.
Exactly, and especially when you've been working, you might be out in the fucking cold or the fucking rain for fucking 8 hours just to, you know what I mean, just to get, 5 minutes worth of some shit on film, and you know what I mean? And people's grueling and trying to do that, and you're just taking your fucking sweet ass time doing whatever the fuck you doing. Motherfuckers is like, nah, fuck that.
Yeah, it don't matter.
I'm fucking with you. I don't care.
Right, because
Find somebody else.
Right, because Kevin Spacey they literally reshot his
A
scenes.
whole movie. This movie's supposed to come out in like December.
They reshot it with another actor.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Like the shit had to be already edited and ready to go, and they said, "Oh no, fuck that. Let's get somebody." And now that adds to the whole production, but I guess they think it's worth it.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, because yeah. I mean, absolutely. Like, you can't fuck around. And it's funny because I just interviewed Michael Rappaport, right? Who's been in 60-something films,
Right.
right? And
Loves hip hop and is very outspoken.
very much so. Mm-hmm. And he actually told me something interesting because he basically was like, "Have you taken acting classes or acting coaches?" Nothing.
No.
No. You've been winging it ever since.
There's no winging it. I know what I'm doing. I knew what I was doing then. I didn't know. I was an instinctive actor at the time. I still go off instinct, but I've done it so much. You have everybody has their own approach. There is no, it's not like, basketball where you work on your layups, you work on your jump shots, you work on your free throws, you work on your handle. It's a different.
Really?
Yeah, it's a different thing. Everybody has their own thing. Acting is funny, and actors don't like to talk about their acting. It's sort of like, I feel like a lot of them think it's like magicians telling their tricks.
And a certain understanding for, like, just humans. You know what I mean? Like how humans think, how humans react, and just be able to just study people. And if you can incorporate that into your shit, I never took no fucking classes or nothing either. Like,
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, so, but I think the point is that, he said, and a lot of it is just luck. A lot of it is just luck and timing and relationships and all that. And you fuck that off and you're done. And that's it. And it don't matter at that point. Now, granted, there are certain people that are just such incredible talents, like a Robert Downey Jr.
I was gonna say him.
That's
why he got 1,001 chances.
He fucked up. He was a drug addict. He fucked up TV shows, but he came back and he's been pretty much on the straight and narrow. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying?
And now he's Iron Man. And
Now he's Iron
that's
Man.
his reward.
That's his reward, right? But like most dudes who are not of that caliber, they'll just get tossed aside. Like, we ain't got time for this shit. You done fucked off the $500,000 last month for me. Like, I'm good. I ain't getting that back from you, so.
But at the same time, not always, because, it also depends who you are. You know what I mean? Do you have the complexion for the connection? You know what I mean? To go in the right direction. Because if there was a black artist that was just as talented as Robert Downey Jr. and did the same shit, guess what? He wouldn't be nobody's fucking Iron Man. They would have kicked his fucking ass out to the side and pulled somebody else in. You know what I mean? Wesley Snipes was the fucking man.
This
He
is
was
true.
the fucking man.
Now look, no one fucking with him. He gets little bit roles here and there. I remember he was in like
He's not, you know what I mean?
that Brooklyn film where he gets killed off in
Wesley
it.
can act. I mean, Wesley's dope. You know what I mean?
No, Wesley was a bona fide star.
That's what I'm telling you.
I remember watching the making of Michael Jackson's Bad. Remember he was in it?
I'm not sure.
He was the dude that got in Michael's face that like Michael was challenging to like.
Oh, okay.
That was Wesley Snipes.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't even realize that.
Yeah. That was Wesley Snipes. The Bad music video, which at the time were the biggest fucking
Right.
things in the world. And I remember watching the making of it, and the director, I forgot who it was, but basically said, when Wesley came in, we all looked at each other and said, okay, this is. And that was like his first role, essentially.
Wow.
We all looked at each other and said, oh yeah, this is the guy. It was obvious. You know what I mean? And he went on to, Demolition Man and
Right.
New Jack City and classics.
I mean, at this point, he would have to, like, kiss so much ass to get back to that Robert Downey level, you know, that level that where he was. And I know he's not that type of motherfucker. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
He's like, fuck it.
yeah.